Dear friends, it's day 908 of the unprovoked Russian invasion of Ukraine, and yesterday third bridge crossing the river Seine in Kursk Oblast of Russia was destroyed, effectively locking between 700 and 1,000 Russian soldiers in a trap between advancing Ukrainian army and the river. 2 Serbian war criminals got eliminated in Ukraine, Belarus announced deploying troops on the Ukrainian border, and the Russian neo-Nazi terrorist group demands to sacrifice a Ukrainian prisoner to the Slavic gods to save Russian war efforts from inevitable collapse. Let's talk about all this right now. In Kursk, 3 bridges across the river Seine were hit over the past few days, cutting all possible supplies and logistics between Rilsky region of Russia and bordering Glushkovsky region, where the Ukrainian operation is taking place. The approximate size of the Russian personnel locked between the river and advancing Ukrainian armed forces is estimated to be between 700 and 1,000 Russian soldiers. There is high probability that these soldiers will be captured by the Ukrainian troops over the upcoming days. The Russian forces may set up pontoons across the river to help remaining Russian troops escape to the opposite bank. However, at this point the river is primarily being controlled by the Ukrainian artillery and strike drones. Russian war experts, including some of the most public propagandists, are raising alarm. Russian blogger Yegor Guzenko reports that the Russian conscripts, he refers to them as kids, are being buried by the Ukrainian artillery on a daily basis. Guzenko showed a video with Russian conscripts claiming that none of them have survived because Putin is sending young, poorly trained 18-21-year-old conscripts to fight against professional and highly motivated Ukrainian troops. Nowadays, even the most hardcore Russian propagandists admitted that years of lying about Ukraine losing the war or Ukrainian children in the trenches resulted in Russians fooling themselves, which led to impressive losses and collapse of the Russian defense in Kursk Oblast. The Proletarsk oil refinery in the Rostov Oblast of Russia is on fire since yesterday. It is reported that the Russian firefighters are unable to put out the fire after a massive drone strike. It does seem that the war brought by the Russian troops to Ukraine is backfiring against Russia itself. 2 Serbian mercenaries, Zoran Stojic and Igor Vukobratovic, were reportedly eliminated in Ukraine. Serbian nationalists support Russian invasion of Ukraine since 2014, delivering troops and supplies to the Russian hybrid army in Donbass. Now, there's quite a few Ukrainian immigrants in Russia besides those who were forcefully deported from Ukraine, like children that were kidnapped from the Ukrainian territory. And there's quite a few Ukrainians who voluntarily moved to Russia and received citizenship. Yesterday, it was reported that in Moscow, as a result of a massive police raid, several dozens of Ukrainian immigrants were handed draft notifications and they were mobilized to the Russian army. The raid took place in the area of Shilkovskaya subway station, local provision base Avashibaza, and several hostels surrounding the area. Belarusian dictator Lukashenko announced that his country deploys 1/3 of his army on the Ukrainian border. Not sure if they want to entertain the Ukrainian troops with those amazing stunts demonstrated by the Belarusian Spetsnaz, like breaking bottles with their hands and building human pyramids, or they have more serious intentions. I will tell you as soon as I have more information. Several days ago, Russian warlord and Chechen local TikTok superstar Ramzan Kadyrov showcased a new truck produced by Tesla with a machine gun mounted on top of it. Kadyrov stated that this truck has been presented to him by Elon Musk himself. At the same time, Elon Musk denied sending the truck to Kadyrov. If I was Elon Musk, I would do the same, considering that the International Crime Court is currently investigating Russian atrocities in Ukraine, and those who support Russian terrorism are risking to have a trip to The Hague. At the same time, there's plenty of evidence that Starlink terminals are being sold in Russia, even despite numerous claims made by Elon Musk and Starlink that this is not true. In February this year, Ukrainian hacker group exposed a Russian network affiliated with Starlink. The front end of this website is currently down, but internet remembers everything. Kudos to the Ukrainian hacker group. Please please let me know if you want to learn more about these legendary people. Now, sometimes when I surf through this absolutely mental chaos of shit and death called Russian social media, I'm facing a huge dilemma. For example, talking about Putin sending Russian teenagers into a meat grinder, showing their faces, talking about Russian war criminals striking hospitals with missiles and burning civilians in the mass graves. It does sound like bad propaganda, even despite numerous evidence. It's literally because Russians produced so many fakes about Ukraine, so people literally started losing trust in all media. But at the same time, when notorious Russian terrorists like Rusich published their posts demanding to make human sacrifices to appease ancient gods, I just feel like talking about it because looking at this psychosis might really help you to save your own sanity. Long story short, there is a Russian neo-Nazi terrorist group Rusich operating in Ukraine since 2014. Leader of this group, Alexei Melchikov, is a self-proclaimed Russian Nazi, formerly known in the Russian social media as a dog hunter, killing and beheading stray dogs on camera. Frequently awarded by the Russian authorities, Melchikov enjoys bragging in his numerous interviews about the war crimes committed by the Russian troops and often calls to physically eliminate Ukrainians as a nation. In their recent statement, terrorists asked allied Russian units to provide them with a prisoned Ukrainian, quote, preferably not entirely Slav, but a non-white Crimean Tatar or something similar, end of quote, in order to perform a human sacrifice for the Slavic gods. The Russian neo-Nazi explained this request as a necessity to raise morale among the new recruits of this terrorist group. Unfortunately, those sick individuals can still travel to your country today. Like Jan Petrovsky, arrested in Finland in December last year. He was recognized after posing next to the bodies of the Ukrainian soldiers. However, there's still plenty of Russian terrorists able to travel around the world, like those arrested this year in Paris preparing terrorist attacks during the Olympic Games. With that, my friends, I wish you all a beautiful day. Please share your thoughts in the comments. I'm operator Starsky. As always, be safe.